This is Joey with Lightrun, and in this video, we are going to discuss tagging and sources. When creating a Lightrun action, such as a log or a snapshot, the first thing you will need to decide is exactly which agent or agents you want to target for observation. The agent is the Lightrun component that gets deployed with each instance of your application, and you can see the list of agents that are running in the Agents tab of the Lightrun plugin, as well as in the source dropdown when adding an action. The agents are the items in the list without icons next to them. Now, if you want to target a specific agent for a Lightrun action, it's totally possible to do that by selecting it from the list. But what makes Lightrun more useful is its ability to target multiple agents at the same time. In most real-life production environments, you're going to have multiple instances of the same application running. Maybe there are multiple VMs behind a load balancer. Maybe they're in different pods in a Kubernetes cluster. So to handle a situation where we want to observe all of these instances at the same time, we use what are called tags. Tags are set up ahead of time as part of the agent configuration. There are multiple ways to add tags, and the actual process to do so will vary slightly based on which programming language you are using. We won't go through all of this in this video, but it is well documented on docs.lightrun.com. Just go to the Agents section, choose the language that you're using, and go to the tagging section, and it'll walk you through it. Once you have some tags set up, you'll be able to see them in the Tags section of the IDE plugin. You can also delete tags from here, and it's good practice to periodically remove tags that are no longer in use. For example, maybe you had a tag for a version that is no longer being used in production. This is one of the places where you can delete it. Don't worry about accidentally deleting a tag that's still being used. If an agent comes back up that is using that tag, it will be added back to the list. By default, each Lightrun agent is given the tag production out of the box. This is meant to get you up and running quickly with a simple application, but it may not be suitable for large complex deployments, so feel free to delete that. The most common errors that happen when adding a Lightrun action stem from choosing an incorrect source. For example, let's say we have two different applications that we are trying to observe. Each of these, presumably, would have source code files with different names. But let's say we never changed the default production tag for either application. If we went to add a Lightrun log and chose the production tag, Lightrun would send out a request to add a log at the chosen file name and line number to all instances that are tagged with production. It is likely that some of these agents will not be able to find the file name that Lightrun sent them because they are running a different application. These agents will report back errors. So for this reason, we want to be intentional about how we create our tags. You can create as many tags as you'd like to help developers identify which workloads are running where, but we recommend that at a minimum, you create tags for component name. So this would be which service or part of the system is running the process. So maybe something like catalog manager, shopping cart, billing, something along those lines. 2 would be version. Which version of the code is running? This is important because developers need to be looking at the same version of the code in their IDE in order for Lightrun to function correctly. You might use a build label or a traditional version number. 3, deployment environment. Where is the code running? It might be dev, might be QA, staging, production, however you have your application set up. And then finally, audience. If relevant, which customer is this deployment intended for? If you run separate environments for your customers, this might be something like a customer name. If you have deployments for each development team, it could be the name of the team using this deployment. Following these recommendations, a Lightrun agent might be configured with the following tags: Catalog Manager, 1.3, Staging, and Walmart. However, assigning all of these elements as separate tags might have some unintended consequences. A developer may target an action to an individual tag, for example, staging, and thereby send the Lightrun action to all agents with a staging tag, only some of which have the source file which the developer is looking at. As a result, many agents will respond with error messages as they do not recognize the file name that the developer has asked to debug. This will provide a poor user experience and unnecessary load on the system. For this reason, it is often best to create compound tags, which combine all of the elements above into a single tag, representing exactly what is deployed and where. An example of what a compound tag would look like is shown here. If it is impractical to create compound tags, due to the large number of combinations of components and versions, things like that, the developers should be directed to create custom sources, which I will explain in a minute. In all cases, the tagging taxonomy should be developed with the goal of having not more than 50 agents per tag. This level of granularity reduces the chances of a developer sending an observability request to a large number of agents, which would then result in a potentially very large amount of information being pushed through the server and back to the developer's IDE. Keep in mind that through the use of tags, developers don't know exactly how many agents will receive and act on a given observability request. And it's generally quite unlikely that a developer will want to get back more than 50 snapshot responses at once. If it is impractical to limit tags or custom sources to under 50 agents, then provide a clue in the tag or custom source name that indicates that it represents a large pool, and then guide developers to use conditions on the Lightrun action to limit results when using these tags. Lightrun tags are static, which means once they are set, they remain the same as long as the agent is running. In order to add, remove, or change a tag, the agent's configuration needs to be changed and the agent needs to be restarted. The static nature of tags is not always convenient for developers who sometimes want to create a group on the fly in a combination that wasn't previously thought of. Whether that group is a collection of specific agents or a grouping, either a union or intersection of tags. This capability is provided by custom sources. Developers could create a new custom source on the fly at any time based on any criteria. The custom source is then shared among all developers who can use it as a source for their actions. Custom sources can be created in the Lightrun management server by going to the Entities Custom Sources tab. Once you're there, you can click on Create a Custom Source. Then give it a descriptive name. And then choose the properties that you want to match. For example, any agents that are tagged with production and also have the word Amazon in their names. You can then verify that correct agents are included by clicking the See Included Agents button, or just click the blue button to save your custom source. Developers could also create basic custom sources on the fly in the IDE plugin by selecting multiple items in the source dropdown when adding an action. This is currently limited to AND type matching, meaning all tags selected will have to be present on the agent for the Lightrun action to be applied to it. Here's an example of how to do that. Custom sources that are created in the IDE plugin are only viewable by the user who created them and cannot be shared with other users. Another thing to know about tags is that any actions that are assigned to a tag will automatically be assigned to new agents that spin up with that tag added. This is especially useful for microservice type deployments where an agent may not stay running for very long, so it may not be practical to add an action directly to an agent. We hope you found this video useful. And if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us using the chat in our portal or directly at support@lightrun.com. Thank you.